I couldn't wash dishes, hand sanitizer out of the question, and do not get me started if I had to shake someone's hand. I created the ultimate survival guide for those who suffer with hand eczema. In today's video, I'm also going to tell you guys how to deal with those awkward handshake moments. Are you one of the few? This is the channel for you. My name is Victoria and I've had eczema my entire life. You can watch my story here. I am committed to providing solid eczema-related content that has practical advice. I just want to preface today's video. I am not a doctor, although I wish I was. Always seek your doctor before taking any advice. I've had eczema on my hands for a couple decades, and I've had everything from Freddy Krueger vibes to smooth and supple hands and everything in between. So I developed a foolproof plan for these hands. I have distilled the hand eczema that I've experienced into 3 different categories, okay? The first type of hand eczema, I'm gonna say, is just like the dry and crusty lizard vibe hands. I'm gonna say that's what your girl's dealing with right now. Elephant skin, it's dry. There is no open wounds, no open skin, no inflammation, but you just look like you're part elephant, okay? That's the first type. And often very dry. 2 is the red and inflamed bleeding hands. There's often broken skin. This area, I used to get a lot of that, lots of inflammation, the red and inflamed hands. And then the third type is the dyshidrotic eczema, characterized by all the blisters. To be honest, you could also deal with all 3 all at once because, eczema, she has no rules. She just does what she likes to do. One of the common types of hand eczema is called the dyshidrotic, characterized by fluid-filled blisters, and it usually is on the fingers, but it could take over the entire hand. There's also, your hands are more susceptible to staph overgrowth and fungus. Dyshidrotic hand eczema is usually caused because interaction with some sort of substance. A lot of people didn't know that an unknown cause of dyshidrotic eczema is nickel allergy. So that's something to look into if you might be struggling with dyshidrotic eczema. The number 1 treatment, I would say, if you have dyshidrotic, I hope, if I'm not saying this right, guys, just be kind. Anyway, I just call it blistery eczema because that's just easier to say. Like, why do they come up with the weirdest names for things? I digress. If you have dyshidrotic eczema, so you want to dry that up. So the best form of treatment for that is to do soaks. Now there's 3 types of soaks I'm going to tell you guys about. I've only done 2 of them, but the one of them there's good research on. All right, so the first one is my personal favorite for dyshidrotic eczema. It is a Dead Sea salt soak. What you would do is you take 1 tablespoon of Dead Sea salt into 4 or 5 cups of water, and you're going to soak your hands daily for about 10 to 15 minutes. After you do, so that's the first type of soak, okay? Second type of soak is a vinegar soak. This is actually really good if your dyshidrotic eczema might have anything to do with a staph overgrowth. And so what you would do is you take 1 part vinegar to 3 parts of water, and same thing, soak for 10 minutes daily. This is, once again, if you've got blisters all over your hand, you can do a daily soak. Number 3 type of soak is the bleach bath, okay, or the bleach soak. This is the one I personally haven't tried because I don't know, it just feels weird to be soaking yourself in cleaning solution. However, there is wonderful research that backs up that this is a effective and helpful form of treatment. So I'm not gonna knock it because I haven't tried it, but I'm just gonna be honest, I haven't tried it. But you try it and then you tell me in the comments below how that worked for you. I'd say this one is the most common, and like I said, it is characterized by fluid-filled blisters, and it's very important not to pop them, okay? Whatever you do, don't pop from someone who's popped many times. When I get guys, when I get the blisters, my favorite thing to do is to soak in the Dead Sea salt. It calms down the inflammation. It takes away the itch. I think it's the magnesium that's in the Dead Sea salt that helps counteract the itch. It dries up the blisters. And when you have this type of eczema, the next step would be, after you do a soak, you want to go into no moisture therapy. You actually don't want to apply moisturizers to the blisters because it kind of exasperates things. So you're gonna do no moisture therapy, and the best thing to do if you have the blisters is to get cotton gloves and look like Michael Jackson. That's what you're gonna be doing. One thing to note, after you've soaked your hands, the other product you want to use is a Hypocolorus spray. Magic Molecule is my favorite spray. I will link it down below. Once your hands dry, you can spray your hands with the Magic Molecule or any Hypocolorus spray. However, I find Magic Molecule to be the most effective for myself. And then once that dries, then you put on your glasses, then you put on your gloves and you go and mime, right? If for whatever reason you can't wear cotton gloves, then keep your spray bottle throughout the day. Your hands periodically through the day when they're itchy, I think up to 10 times you could probably use the Hypocolorus spray. It is expensive, so it is better if you could keep your hands in those gloves, then you would kind of be able to mitigate how often you need to use the spray. But the Hypocolorus spray is very effective at killing bacteria, but in a very gentle way. And I don't know what it is about, it's magic, man. That stuff, keeping my hands looking pretty good. The next stage we're going to talk about is the one that I'm in, the dry, crusty, lizard, elephant-like stage. Round of applause for elephant skin. And I'm going to tell you guys, this is the best place to be. Other than having healed skin, this is probably the easiest stage to take care of. This is the stage that gives you the least grief. This is probably more an aesthetic issue. When you have this type of eczema on your hands, soaks are not needed as often. So you could do a Dead Sea salt soak like once a week, if that. Another option that you could do with the Dead Sea salt is to literally wet your hands and then like touch the Dead Sea salt and then kind of do like a Dead Sea salt scrub. Do this, it's gonna burn, be warned, especially if you have been scratching your skin, it'll burn. Do it for like as long as I just did this, and then you could wait for maybe 3 minutes. Wash your hands, do that once a week if you don't want to soak, no soaking needed. There are so many great benefits to Dead Sea salt. Another option is of course the vinegar once a week. I don't know about the bleach baths, okay? Also comment down below, are you in the lizard stage? Green hearts down below if I have any fellow lizard hands with me. The name of the game for the dry lizard-like stage is moisture. You're gonna use my Holy Grail, or you could use your own Holy Grail, but I like my Holy Grail. It is made of aloe vera gel and glycerin mixed at 50-50, or you could do 40, I don't remember the math, but you could add a little bit of water if you wanted. If you find that your hands are very itchy during this season, usually it's not, but if you do find them itchy, you can also use a product like Uramol 20. Again, burn alert, but that will bring the itch right down. It's important to keep your nails short when you have eczema on your hands, or get your nails done if you're an eczema girly like me. This helps. The reason I get my nails done, people think I'm bougie, but I'm not. It actually prevents me from breaking the skin on my hands, and it's easier than having to cut my nails every single day because they grow quite quickly. When you're in any stage of hand eczema, but definitely in this stage, you can feel like you're kind of normal. It's very easy to go from this stage to the next, and it's really important that you wear gloves. Now, I'm allergic to latex, or at least have a sensitivity to it, so I have actually found gloves that are cotton lined latex gloves. You can get them from Dollarama. They look something like this, and then on the inside it is lined with cotton. Dollarama in Canada. If you're not in Canada, then I'm not sure, maybe you could look on Google, but wearing gloves when you wash your dishes is essential. Now, let me just interrupt for a little fun story. So my doctor, when she saw my hand eczema many years ago, suggested that I stop washing dishes. As a mother, she said I should stop washing dishes because it's causing my eczema issues. How am I supposed to stop washing dishes? So I asked her, I'm like, how am I supposed to do that? She's like, you could hire somebody. You see, this is why I need to be a doctor, so I have these kind of options. But as I said before, if you don't wear gloves, it can, this stage, even though it's almost like your eczema is dormant during this kind of dry, crusty, lizard-like stage, it could actually now take you to the next stage, or to the next type of hand eczema, and that is the red and inflamed bleeding mess. So red, inflamed, bleeding hands, you're going to focus on two things. Very similar to the Dyshidrotic, honestly, that word. Your main focus is to use a hypocolorous acid spray. There's a very good chance when you're in that red flame stage that you are having some kind of like staph bacteria or fungal issues, possibly. So, or it could also be what you're coming in contact with, but using hypocolorous spray, no moisture method, and you wearing cotton gloves. So I have a saying: when it's red and inflamed, from products you abstain. If you're dry and crusty, lotion is a musty. So the second you see that your hands are red, okay, that is a cue to stop using product on your skin and just give your skin a break. So what I would recommend if you are in the red and inflamed bleeding stage is to spray those hands with hypocolorous spray and then put on gloves and go and do no moisture therapy. When your skin calms down, then you can begin. They're called for the lizard hands. The red and inflamed stage, you can do soak once a week. I would recommend probably the Dead Sea salt soak. Just know it will burn significantly more because you're gonna have open skin. So even like having, instead of doing like a tablespoon, do half a tablespoon of Dead Sea salt. If you can withstand it, then withstand it. Like, it's just more for your comfort level. Let it dry, spray yourself with the hypocolorous spray, put on your gloves, and once again, have at it. Now let's talk about shaking people's hands and just like the awkward looks, the discomfort, all of that comes with having hand eczema, because I can't tell you how many times I've reached out for someone's hand and you can see the like, oh, what's happening? Or, you know, I don't want to say disgust because you can really never know if someone's disgusted, but you can see that people sometimes, depending too on how bad my skin is at that time, definitely have their reservations about shaking my hands. And how do you deal with that? My advice is to lean into it. You have eczema, and that's okay. So you need to lean into that fact. So when it's time to shake someone's hand, you are going to shake their hand as if you don't have eczema. And if you notice any micro expression or anything that's kind of like, you know, after the fact, you would educate them and be confident. What this would look like in real time would, hi, nice to meet you. And you'd see them be like, oh yeah, don't mind my lizard-like skin. I have something called eczema. Have you ever heard of that before? Okay, I know not everybody wants to do that, and you can decide to make it a conversation based on the person. So if I just met someone briefly and I felt like I would say, oh yeah, don't mind my lizard-like skin, or don't mind my skin, I have eczema. I would leave it there. If it's someone you're gonna come in contact with a lot more, then I would choose to ask them, do you know anyone with eczema? Do you know anything about eczema? And educate. So lean into it and educate them. Once you actually own the fact that you have the hand eczema, it actually takes half of the battle. You start to not care. Once you've said it, hey, this is what it is, you actually it's almost like it deflates that insecurity because you just put it on the table. You're just like, this is what it is. You can accept me or not. And people who are gonna not accept you because of the fact that you have a rash that is not your fault, do you even really want them in your life? So many times people are just curious. They have looks of curiosity, looks of concern, looks of wonderment. It's not that they're disgusted by you. Now, please, let me just preface this and say, if your hands are full of blood, don't be shaking anybody's hand. I would be disgusted too. Ultimately, shaking someone's hand is definitely a personal thing. It's definitely a germy thing. So if you do have red and inflamed hands, if there's a lot of bleeding on your hand, or you found your hands are oozing, put on the gloves. And then if you don't want to shake someone's hand because you have gloves on, just be like, yeah, I actually have eczema, so I'm not going to shake your hand, but it's wonderful to meet you. I have really learned to lean into my eczema and over years, decades of having eczema, and it's made me a lot more confident with it. I actually have a video called How Eczema Made Me Confident, and I really encourage you to check that out because there's so many people, even in my comments or people that DM me, talking about how they feel like they don't have confidence, that their eczema is ruining their life, and I really go into detail about how to have confidence even though you have eczema, and the fact that your insecurity actually isn't rooted in the fact that you have eczema at all. So please check out that video. It would be of great help to you. I hope that this is a helpful guide, whether you have dyshidrotic, whether you have the blistering eczema, whether you have red inflamed eczema, or you're like me and you have the dry, crusty lizard hands. Now you know what to do. If you found this video helpful, please green hearts down below. Until next time.